G'day and welcome back to the Department of Southern Armament Research. Today we're taking a look at this, my 1903A3 Springfield. These guns are still pretty much the go-to rifle for service rifle competition here in Australia in terms of if you want to win. However, let's take a look at some of the features here and take on a bit of a tour of this particular rifle itself. Okay, so the A3 Springfield. This one is a 41 million series Remington production. Places us somewhere in December 1943 in terms of production date. However, none of that really matters because this gun has been refurbished by the James River Company. Thus, the stock is beautiful. The barrel has been refitted with I think it's a Criterion barrel that they use, or Criterion. And pretty much everything has been reparkerized or refinished in some way, shape or form. So let's take a look at some of the features. The stock is the most popular or desirable stock type. This is the C stock, as it's referred to, which has the full pistol grip. There was the scant stock, which had a more rounded type. It was made on a standard straight stock blank. It was as much of a pistol grip as they could achieve. End goal being they were trying to replicate the M1 Garand in as much ways as possible. That includes the sighting system, which is very similar. It is quite a fine peep sight and a stupendously thin foresight. This one bends. It bends very easily. Let's just leave it at that. I do have a friend who managed to replace his with a titanium piece that he got made. And we've never been able to con him into making some more since. But, effectively, lovely Timberwork. This is new old stock, marked with the FJA cartouche inspection mark. Everything's been reparkerized, all the metalwork, etc. And the bolt has a lovely plum colour to it. Now, the Springfield action itself, it's no secret, it's a Mauser. I get accused of being a Mauser hater. It's not my favourite action type. I respect it for what it actually is. This is probably best of breed in terms of my personal preferences anyway. Interesting features on that is the magazine cutoff. This ginormous switch here, which has a intermediate, an on and an off position. That is your magazine. So you can switch off the magazine and cycle the bolt. Dry fire it all day long, the intent being single feeding only. Then when you need your magazine, flip the switch on and feed your 5. Cartridge is the monstrously overpowered 3006, much longer to comparable 303 Mark 7 round, all for some more velocity sake. So, action itself is fed via stripper clip. In the first instance, any sort of Mauser type stripper clip, it's all rimless cases, they all work. A lot of people use the Swedish Mauser stripper clips in their Springfields here in Australia. The sights are what make the gun what they are. They are very finely adjustable for windage, being ultimately designed as a target rifle in the first instance, as is the American habit. And that fine front blade makes them very, very precise in terms of a sight picture. Elevation, you walk yourself up and down the scale here. And what that allows you to do, obviously, is matched in yards, because yards was the measurement at the time. And the nice thing James River did when they refurbished these guns was actually paint in all your numbering and lines. So you are left with no doubt, with the nice fresh spring in there, what sight setting you're actually on. Sights are marked out to 800 yards as that was the qualification distance. Buttstock, steel, sling, the obligatory Knox sling, most complex sling on the planet, but very, very stable for when you want to use them. Trigger, it's a standard military style trigger. Has a little bit of take up followed by a single stage brake. It's a Mauser. The safety itself is a flag type. You have the ability to recock the action using the back of the bolt itself. 2-position, safe and fire, as opposed to traditional K98 style or 98 Mauser style, where you have the intermediate position for removing the bolt. To remove the bolt on Springfield, you have to put your magazine selector, which is also your bolt stop, to the intermediate, which allows you to slide the bolt right on out. Extractor is typical Mauser affair, as is your locking lugs, etc. Now, one thing both myself and Mike have commented on is there is not a lot of spring tension in the firing pin. Anything where you have to be able to recock the action manually seems to be traditional, that the striker or the firing pin spring is not what you'd expect. So this one is actually not by default, easy enough to lift with your own finger. So, quite an accurate gun. 2-groove barrels were the norm for issue later in the war. I do know a gentleman up at Belmont who has a 2-groove Springfield in a regal configuration, not a rebuild such as this, and he pretty much outshoots everyone in the club with a standard 155 grain load. So, that's about all there is on this gun, until we can take it onto the range and show you what it can do. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe, and we'll bring you something else interesting next week.